Jose Luis Calvo. He's a colleague in Spain and working closely with Spanish banks in the area of mobility, in the area of digital banking, and really bringing them a step forward. I think Spain is an interesting market. I also had the pleasure, or have the pleasure, to work with these banks in the last 2 years, and I think they're really going ahead and are trying out new things. So Jose Luis is showing us what he does with his banks. But first, let us go back to some questions about Spanish banks. One question, how many branches do you think are in Spain still in place? Bank branches. I can perhaps give you a hint. There are 320 banks about. How many branches? 25,000, 35,000, 45,000? Yeah, you see the figures. What do you think? Jose Luis will answer the question then later on during his speech. There were about at least 32 who have registered now, I've seen before. Okay, 320 divided by the numbers, quite a lot.
Very good. Very good.
So, second question, which is the biggest bank in Spain? Do you know that? I mean, there could be two answers, but let's take the real biggest bank also with the international business and the local one. Then we would have two answers, different answers. Yeah. So, Archange, BBVA. They are quite known from the Formula One engagement and others. Huh? So, this is a first intro to this Spanish topic, and Jose Luis, we're curious to hear the answers. Nice. How many branches do we have over there?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation, Marcus, and thank you, all of you, for coming. Sorry to switch to English, but I'm unable to do it in German. So. With the first question, but how many population is in Spain? Do you know, more or less? How many millions? You're very participative. Marcus told me that. No, the thing is that in Spain there are about between 45 and 50 millions. So when we talk about branches, the fact is that there is about one branch roughly for 1,000 people, population, not customers. So, I mean, there is a good part here and there is a bad part, right? The good part is that banks are closer to their customers. The fact is that you don't have a footprint, a physical footprint. It's very hard to have new customers inside the bank. So that was the reason that they, in the last years, I mean, the last decades, they were growing the branch. I mean, the bad thing is that it's very costly, right? It's not very efficient having branches for everything. There are small branches, 3 people per branch, something like that. But as you can see, after or during the crisis and after the crisis, the number of branches are declining strongly. And the estimation for 2014 is that we're going to close with about 40,000 branches. Or we have closed with that number. So they're closing. So as you can imagine, the topic that is, I mean, is broadly in the world about what is the new role from the branch, what is all the related with the advisors, all the sellers that are in the branch, if they can go out of the branch and so on. It's a very hot topic in Spain, right? And they are thinking a lot about how to deal with that. And then I will come back with the second question after that. So what I want to share here is just what are the kind of conversations that we're having with those banks. There are Santander, BBVA, and Caixa. Those are the three biggest banks in Spain, and with many others, but basically with those. And what is starting from the last, I would say the last 2 or 3 years, is that they are becoming more and more interested on what are doing other industries, what are doing retail, or what are doing the groceries, or what are doing others, right? So when we talk about digital transformation with them, mobility is one of the pillars of the digital transformation. We talk a lot about 4 different attributes. One is the convergence. I use Zara here. So, you know, Zara is a Spanish brand also from Inditex. And when Zara took a very long time to start selling through internet. They have all the stores, all the shops, but they were very slow to start selling in internet. But when they start selling through e-commerce, they do one thing that was pretty smart, that you can buy something, you can buy your clothes on internet. If you don't like it, you can return in a shop. You can go to a shop or return it. You can go to a shop and buy something, and it's not very convenient to you to drop it with you, and they can send it to your home. You know? So they are not competing the online channel with the offline channel. They see all the physical assets that they already have like assets. And that's the same with the banks. You already have branches, that's an asset. There is no need to compete the physical branch with the online channel, right? The other attribute is about the convenience. It's very related. That's Tesco. Probably many of you know about that because it was a very well-known case. That's Tesco in South Korea. They were already in the country. They want to grow. They want to grow without having more stores. That's also very common in banking, at least in Spain. They want to grow and without having more branches, even reducing that, right? So what they did is that they focused on the convenience for their customers. They changed the waiting time in the metro, in the underground, to shopping time. This is not a store. This is all the signage in a metro, in a underground. So the people with their mobile can start to shop, and then when they back to home, they can check out the card or whatever, right? So the focus here is the convenience. The third attribute is about customization, and it's against the segmentation that is so hard to manage, segmentation, and it's not clear that at the end that you obtain what you pretend with the segmentation, right? So this is a study from this summer from Wall Street Journal. They took a microwave and did some follow the price of that microwave in different e-commerce sites. I'm just putting the attention in one that is Amazon.com. 9 changes of the price of one microwave every day, in one day, for that customer. If you go to Amazon, the most probably is going to change prices for all of you. Right? It's really customization. It's customization to the extreme. They're customization the price of the thing that is selling to you. So the concept of customize, treat every individual like different from others is a topic that we are discussing a lot. And the fourth and the end, and it's probably a very broad attribute, it's about the relationship. Nike, some time ago, they started to sell not only clothes, but gadgets and apps, not selling, but offering. They have offering of apps for if you're running, how much are you running? You can compare what you're running with other people, and and the same in basketball with jumps and everything. The thing here is not that they are starting to sell technology or that they are starting to sell gadgets. The thing is that previous to that, Nike sell a cloth to you and they forget. There's no more relationship. Now they are selling the clothes for sporting with you, to you, and they are following you when you are doing sport. The contact point, the touch points with their customers or the users are increasing a lot. And that's the same. You move to whatever sector, whatever industry. So that's those four attributes are very easily moved to the banking industry. Is the convergence between physical and digital, not only creating the digital proposal, how to merge that with the physical. Is about the convenience, about the customer experience, about the customer have the same experience through all the different channels in the bank. Also what I mentioned about forgetting so much about segmentation and start thinking much more on customization in every individual. And finally, that kind of relationship, how can you extend, how do you increase your ecosystem, right? How can you start to have relationships with the customer and be present with the customer all the days? So we are working around those attributes in different areas about how is the relationship with the customers, how do you attract new customers, how do you work as a network between the different employees, but also between the sellers and their customers, how they can improve that work, how you can improve the knowledge that you have about your customers, and finally, how can you as a bank offer new services to your customers, right? So, and now I'm landing that with real examples from Caixa Santander and another one from Bankinter, and those are different partners that they have worked in the projects and so on. All of the projects that I'm going to tell you are real ones, are in production, are running. It's not stuff that they're thinking on. It's something that is already working. I will start with Caixa. La Caixa that's somewhat, I know that it's somewhat complex and confusing. La Caixa was the name for the saving bank, then they moved to a private bank, and now the new name is Caixa Bank, right? But it's the same bank, the same people, same customers, same branches, and everything. So this is the biggest bank in Spain. Most of you say Santander because Santander is the biggest Spanish bank. You know? No, seriously. No, is the Caixa is the bank with more assets in Spain, with more with not more customers. The customers are more or less the same than Santander, but more branches and more ATMs and more employees in Spain, right? Obviously, Santander is pretty big because they're pretty big in UK, in Brazil, in Mexico, and so on. The project that we did with Caixa was related to put the people that is already in the branch have the opportunity to go out, to go to the small and medium companies and be able to sign contracts. That was the main goal for Caixa. It started as a proof of concept in a flagship branch. They put some tablets for signing, for so on. The people, the executives from the bank, from small and medium companies, went to that flagship and said, okay, we want that, but for the sellers, for the financial advisors that are going to the different shops and different companies. So they did a very aggressive campaign. Basically, here, see, we are out to see you, and this is, we moved this branch to your business. This is the signage in the branches. So, and the main focus of them, as I say, is to sign contracts. When I go to a branch, to a customer office, to a customer shop, I can sign the contract and come back with that already signed. That was the main focus. I have a video of them explaining the project. So I believe that they explain. Do you understand Spanish? Can you follow it? Yeah? Yeah, no? No, but it's subtitled a little bit in English.
CaixaBank es el banco líder en España. Nuestra red de oficinas de más de 5.700 permite dar servicio a más de 14 millones de clientes en unas 2.200 localidades.
CaixaBank es un banco mayorista de servicios financieros que fue creado por la Confederación Española de Cajas de Ahorros en noviembre de 2012.
En esa relación del día a día, nuestros 28.000 profesionales generan una gran cantidad de firmas. Cada día se generan más de 1.600.000 de los distintos documentos en todas las oficinas.
El salto que damos en el proyecto con CaixaBank es llevar el sistema al entorno móvil, es llevar el sistema allí donde está el usuario. Es un proyecto en el que llevamos trabajando ya más de 6 años, cuya misión principal es la eliminación del papel en todo el ciclo de relación comercial con los clientes.
En CaixaBank llevamos la innovación incorporada en nuestro ADN. Por algo nos han dado varios premios internacionales últimamente al respecto. Bajo ese prisma de innovación, queríamos analizar cómo son atendidos nuestros clientes en las oficinas. Y veíamos un modelo aún muy demostrador, donde los clientes hacen cola, cuando les toca el turno, pues se sientan en una mesa y el gestor está en la otra.
Con el sistema logramos producir documentos digitales del origen, en el cual la firma se recoge con formato biométrico, se encripta y se vincula unívocamente al documento de manera que es perfectamente legal y seguro.
Este proyecto lo que permite es que ese gestor no tenga que estar sentado en su sitio. Nosotros necesitábamos encontrar una plataforma que permitiera unar los dos mundos. Esta plataforma única tenía que ser Windows 8, pues era la única que nos permitía aunar de manera clara un terminal financiero que ya funcionaba en los sistemas de Windows de toda la vida y estas nuevas posibilidades de tactilidad y de compartir pantalla. Además, la solución Windows 8, incorporada también con el smartphone, hace que nuestros gestores tengan la misma experiencia de usuario en cualquiera de los dispositivos con los que estén trabajando. Y para rematar, la firma digital. Lo que queríamos es que en el proceso de venta fuera todo el mismo flujo. Y la firma digital nos permite que al final de la transacción los dos firman, tanto el cliente como el gestor, y esa firma digital tiene la misma validez, la misma seguridad y además incorpora todos los datos biométricos que le dan toda fiabilidad tanto al cliente como a nosotros.
Windows 8 nos permite además una migración sencilla y rápida desde lo que sería un dispositivo tipo tablet hacia un smartphone, lo que también nos permite afrontar el futuro del sistema de firma digitalizada, en el cual no solamente utilizaremos biometrías tipo firma, sino que evolucionaremos hacia el reconocimiento facial, hacia el reconocimiento de voz y hacia también la huella dactilar, lo que nos permitirá una autentificación mucho más fuerte del cliente final.
So they started with the deployment of that in this summer. They took the decision about February in 2014, and they started with the deployment of the tablets and the phones around the summer. The phones a little bit earlier, the tablets a little bit later. Currently, basically the decision was one smartphone for every employee, so that's about 30K, a little bit more, 30K Windows Phone. They already have deployed 20,000. And one tablet for every seller for small and medium companies. That was the decision in February or something. Currently there are about 3,000 tablets deployed for those sellers. It's not on top of, it's instead of their computer. Right? They are replacing the computers with those tablets, and currently they are signing about 2,000 contracts per day. So I will say that the project is running and is running very healthy. Right? The idea is to continue the deployment until the 6,000 during the next months, and now next steps. What is the vision for that? Is that this is having a a very good start and a very good reaction from the customers. The vision is to replace, not to replace, is going to a full paperless project. That means that all the contracts for Caixa are going to be signed in a tablet, including the branches, right? Because it makes sense. Caixa has a long history of trying to do a paperless project. I remember 10 years ago or 15 years ago doing a project of paperless, and they stopped to send documents, physical documents to the branches. They send the digital ones and so on. What they noticed when they monitored that is that there was an increase of the paper consumption in the branches because people printed them, right? So you're sending digitally, but all of them are printing them. So now the thing is that they need to print it, or they need to print it for read it, or they need to print it for sign it. So at the end they need to print it. So now they're trying again that paperless project, moving from that. So that's about Caixa. Next one, Santander. Santander is the biggest Spanish bank, right? The second in Spain, but the biggest Spanish. With Santander, if I start telling you, it's the same project. They're going to put, they started in December. They started after, in production in December, right? With a couple of hundreds of sellers. But it's the same project. They are putting tablets in sellers of small and medium companies. You know, in Spain we have a very, very big productive economy on small and medium companies. But it's the same until here. The difference is that Caixa started with a device and the signing of the documents. Santander started with an app for the sellers. What they are doing is, what they did is do a CRM, the app that a seller needs to, like the sales agenda, all the information that the seller needs before the meeting with the customer, for preparing the meeting, during the meeting, all the content that they need when they are in front of the customer, and after the meeting, the closing, the notes, how was the result from that meeting. They have done that app, and then and selling that and sending all their sellers with that app to the customers. The idea, their sellers are already going to the customer's office, but with a paper. So the idea is that they don't have to go back and forth from the office from the customer to the branch. It's just in one visit they can close the deal, right? So they're starting here. The good thing, or at least the good thing for us, is that now Santander is moving to the signing of the documents, and Caixa is moving to the CRM in mobility, right? So we have experience on both. It's okay. we have worked on some work already done. So that's the different concepts that we're working with them are pretty similar to, or the same concepts. The idea is that how the employees work and collaborate between them, how the employees work and collaborate with their customers in the branch, in the customer office, remotely, with the financial advisor that is remote through devices or kiosks like that. And then how the customers have some relation with the bank by themselves, right? And finally, how is the relationship with the community and so on, and with the social networks and so on. So this is not it's just for give you a glimpse of the kind of application. This is not the final one. The final one is intellectual property of the Santander. This is the first concept that we work on for the presentation with them about 1 year ago, right? The idea is, this is the tool, the agenda, the colleagues that are specialists in something, there's a kind of wall, of what is happening in the bank, in the branch with the customer. This is the calendar. This is a map with all the customers that I have, where are they when I'm in one location. And this is during the meeting. All the data from that opportunity, the different specialists for that opportunity, I can connect with them through link or whatever. And finally, all the documentation that I can upload to the tool to the system when I am on site with the customer, right? And that's basically the one from the Santander. It's starting from the CRM. It's a little bit more complex in terms because you are creating a very strong tool, but we're doing both, right? And finally, about Bankinter. And Bankinter has done the same project than Caixa. The same. There's signing with another partner. They did basically they did the same. Fewer tablets, fewer sellers because they are smaller. But I'm going to talk about another project with Bankinter because when we talk about mobility, it's not just that I can take the device and bring it with me. Mobility is also going to another device and having the same information, right? And also I talk about providing new services. So Bankinter has created a new service that is called Stone Cloud. It's basically a storage in the cloud, a secure storage in the cloud, and they're selling that as a service. They're selling. It's not a new service for your contracts with the bank that are stored here. It's used for that, but you can also contract that service for storing confidential information that you want, right? It's built on our cloud. That's the reason I'm telling you that. And there is another thing that I like a lot for that is that the credentials that they're using for that service can be the ones from Bankinter, but they are accepting a lot of credentials for signing here, right? All this, and the same for starting with online banking. And that's all. I like, in this year, I like a lot to finish with that slide. It's just about, our CEO. This is a phrase, a quote for talking about us, but I believe that is very relevant also for a lot of industries, right? And banking is also the same here. So thank you very much. I will be here. You want to talk or ask whatever, I will be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, José Luis. As a matter of fact, do you have questions? As José Luis has to catch a plane back, so he will be here during the break. And so take the opportunity to ask him then. I think we could have filled 2 more hours with examples because all these examples you showed, we know that Spanish banks are quite innovative and would be an important, interesting question. So these additional services, what are they trying out? What is working? They certainly have examples there. So I think it would be a huge area to have to listen to José Luis. So if you want to talk, to hear and learn from him, take the opportunity during the break or ask now. Who has a question or remark to José Luis?
Can you tell about failures?
Failures?
Yes.
No. I can. No, but they're not. That if you don't have issues, that's another word. If you don't have issues, you are not doing a project, right? That's something that we all know. But no, there is not strong issues in neither. For instance, Caixa is deploying very, very quick, and they start very slowly, but they started to deploy. The phones they deploy 2,000 per week, something like that. It's running pretty well. We have an issue it's not a joke, but we have an issue the week that we stopped from the store WhatsApp. We have a big issue there. But anyway, from the executives. But no big issues. No.
So, and concerning the mobility topic you mentioned, mobility is not just taking the device, but be ready to work anywhere. You will see some examples later on, so we choose the topics right? And so, Kai, yeah.
One question in regards to the example, it's Spanish banks. Are they covering all kind of client segments, or is it mainly retail banking, or is kind of wealth management included the same way as well?
3 of them are retail banks. I mean, the main business is retail, and they are starting with in Caixa and Santander there is the more mobile. They are starting with small and medium companies that is inside the retail division, right? It's not individuals, but it's the companies in retail. For instance, in all the meetings on the conceptual design and so on that we had with the people from in Santander for small and medium companies, the people from individuals were there, and that's retail also, and the people from wholesale was there also. So they're interested, but they're starting with a small and medium company.
Other question? Otherwise, thanks a lot, José Luis, for the very interesting presentation. Thank you. And